Uh, Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to our fifth webinar in the Discovery Space Fall webinar series, and the second in the October deep dive. So this one is on modifying the scenario, or I think adapting. We'd use the term adapting, but the bottom line is that Maria, Luisa, and I will be taking you through the process of how to make a copy of an existing scenario and adapting it to the needs of to your own needs, whatever they may be. So I'm Michael Gregory. Maria Luisa, do you want to say hi as well?
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria Luisa from NUCLIO, so I'm co-hosting here with Michael, and we thought that this new series of webinars would be really nice to have more interactive webinars so that we can really help you take these scenarios to the classroom and really implement with your students.
And it's great to see that there's a number of familiar people we're seeing. So we know at least with half of you, we've seen you before. We know that you've been using the platform. But a question for everyone, because there's some names I don't think I recognize. Please let us know, have you been using the online platform before? And in the email you got for this webinar, I sent the link again, reminded the access code for anyone who was new and is joining for the first time. But please, in the chat, let us know, have you already been using
Or registered, at least registered. Maybe if you have that right over there, could you just copy it to the chat?
Yes, I'm just finding the chat again.
Oh, sorry.
So again, there's the link for the platform, and actually, whether or not you've been using it so far, and hopefully most of you have, because this will be a little bit quick if this is your first time here. But please go ahead and connect to the platform already to make sure either that your login works, or if you are creating a login for the first time, that that works, so that we can troubleshoot that before the next part, where we'll lose you with asking you to copy a scenario if you're not even connected. So it's like to that everyone can be connected.
Yes, we remember you, Eileen. Nice to see you here again.
Yeah, great to see you again.
So if you follow the link, if you already have a teacher account, you just have to log in. But if you still don't have a teacher account, when you register, don't forget that you need to put that access code so that you are a teacher and you can see the back office of the scenario. So that is very important for what we are going to do today. Anyone else? Has anyone not registered as a teacher? Everyone is registered as a teacher? Yes? I would think so. Right? So
And to show them the scenario and the first modifications we'll have them go through, do you want me to share my screen, or do you want to share your screen, Luisa?
you can share.
Okay, perfect. So I'll start sharing my screen. So I'll show you guys where we'll be going, and please try and follow along in the platform at the same time. And if you're getting lost on where to go, or like if there's any thing we can help as we're doing that, please let us know. Okay, hopefully it should show the platform here. Let me know if it's not coming through, okay?
Yes, like that is it's better, although
Those still not great. Is this even better?
yes, that's better. Yes.
Okay.
So it's
Perfect.
happening the same thing as it happened to me last time, right? You had to reduce.
It might be. So I think it might just be like something with Zoom settings that's
Mhm,
new-ish, that was new for us 2 or 3 sessions ago.
mhm,
So if anyone's having an issue where where you can see only part of the screen but not the whole thing, here there should be like the tree logo in the top left. I mean, there's open tabs at the top. Um, they're all DSpace related, but they're not like you guys don't need to see the registration form for the webinar or things like that, you know. But um, if you're not seeing the whole thing, it's a matter of zooming, where apparently now in Zoom, you can control the zoom level and you could zoom in and out. So if you're zoomed in and you're not seeing the whole thing I'm showing you, like if you seem to be too zoomed in and you don't know what I'm talking about, try zooming out. And that's that's a user control rather than presenter control now. Should we go straight to this scenario, or should we have them join the webinar group that we created? Should we do that at the end or at the beginning?
maybe at the beginning.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to have you guys do, there's an organizations tab, which we haven't mentioned in webinars so far, I don't think. If we have, it's only been very briefly, and none of you probably would have had much need to use it. Oh, it was mentioned in the first webinar when Nikos is going through all of the features of the
Mhm,
platform. But if you're the only teacher in your school using it, you probably just have your one teacher account. Or if you're using it with 1 or 2 colleagues, they can probably just share your account. You can share things that way. But organizations are useful when you come to co-develop scenarios and share them with each other. That's the main thing they were developed for. So I'm going to open the organizations tab, and we have a brand new organization, fall webinars, which here we're in the fall webinars, and I'm going to view it. And so far, and we can see it's the same logo I've got behind me. So it looks like we're in the right place. And so far, I'm all alone in the group. I'm the only member.
mhm.
So I'm first going to go through the process of showing how I'll add Maria Luisa, and then I'm
Yes.
going to ask everyone in the webinar to give us either your username, or I mean, we could guess it from your names too. But in case you use a different name or anything like that, I'll be asking you guys to add it in the chat. So you have time while I'm adding Louisa's, but start getting your own username to add to the chat. If you don't want other people to see it and you just want me to see it, you can share it privately in the chat. But we're going, oh, I didn't
Yeah.
even click on the right part because I was talking at the same time. Add member, not add organization. So Louisa, can you give me your username? So I mean, I could
Try
also.
Luisa with no, yes, no, with not capital. Yes,
Yeah, lower. Okay, so like this, but
yes.
not like it suggested.
So let
And there's a
uh,
lot for you that I mean, that's
oh,
why not just searching you by name and adding all of them, but which one of your
uh,
many accounts do
yeah,
you?
the 8.
Okay, that's even. I think I only have 2 accounts, maybe 3, and I
There are
almost
few
only ever
there
use.
that I don't know why I have.
Yeah. And now I want to add other members. So in the chat, hopefully people have started adding their username. Oh, troubleshooting getting in. We're here for troubleshooting, so
Yeah.
that's useful too. But can everyone who already is logged in, please give us your username in the chat so we can add you to the organization.
Yes,
Oh,
Eileen thinks it was her name. But, well, you can also with
how
the
do you
first
find?
name.
Yeah, I'll do it by names if you can't find your username, because I don't know how I find my user. Oh no, it's up at the top. When you go to the top right corner, and it's just that's my first name because that's my username. But I can also search by first name. And Eileen, that'll be you, so I'll add you to the organization. And ideally we can get everyone added onto this so then you can see the modified version that we create. And we'll have one that's live and open as a test version, and all of you can edit it. And it's going to be the one that's just shared with this organization. We'll know that as a test version, anyone can modify it. So don't use that version with students unless you're up for things not working well. So hopefully we can get a couple more usernames out of some of the other participants before we move on to actually creating the copy.
So we're having Yonelia with problems registering as a teacher. The code, it says that invalid access code for teacher registration, which is a little bit frustrating. I repeated the code just because it could have.
It's
So I
possible.
solved the problems and it's okay. I can
Hi.
open the account.
Thank you. Great.
Thank
Nice
you
to hear
so.
that. Great.
Excellent.
So
It's
maybe, Yonella, you can already try to add Yonelia.
so I'll go by first name and hopefully it's spelled the same way both in Zoom and in the platform.
Yeah.
No users.
Maybe you need to confirm. I don't think we need to confirm.
Yeah, I think it makes it immediately accessible.
What was your username? Do you know, Yonella?
Ionelia S.
Okay. Not yet. But you have registered, right? Did you receive some confirmation email? Maybe you can try another one.
And it doesn't look like anyone else is sending their usernames. It'd be a lot easier if you're connected to the organization so you can have access to the one that we're editing. If that doesn't happen for some of you, you can still make your own copies of any of the scenarios. But it's just if you're not in this group, then you won't have access to the one that we're editing together live to see the effects of what's happening as we're doing it. Okay, let's try Ionelia again.
This S, search members. Yes.
There we go. Yes, perfect. Okay, so we're up to 4 of us, which is almost enough for a party. And seeing as we're not getting other usernames for people, should we just move on, or should we guess people's first names, or what do you think we should do, Luisa?
Well, we can always try.
Okay, so anyone who hasn't given us our username, we're gonna go through manually trying to guess your names. Uh, we'll do that for a minute or so, but I can see that being exceptionally boring if that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work, we'll just move on. If you want to be added later, we can always go back and add later, but then we'll move on to modifying the scenarios. So far, no.
No.
Nikos, we have a partner named
Several.
Nikos. This is probably going to be a lot of,
Yes, those are other Nikos.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we have our group.
Yeah. So we have our group, and we'll go into the authoring tool and over to the Ohm's law scenario. And I think I still have it handy to paste into the chat. No, that's the Zoom link. I had the direct link handy. It was sent in the email today. But when you scroll through the scenarios, it'll be for me near the bottom, and you'll see significantly fewer scenarios because any of the ones that are marked as private, you don't see in your own view. And all the way down.
There.
Oh, well, that's
Oh.
the.
No,
Will
this
you
is the
use the English
Portuguese one. Yes, sorry, there it is.
So also as a heads up for people looking for it, we'll be using the
English one.
the English one, but there's a Portuguese one as well. So like in practice, you could use either, but as we're speaking to you in English, it makes more sense if we use the English one. And instead of just viewing it, now we're going to copy it. So then we have a copy. And rather than just saying it's the copy made by me, we'll be a little bit more specific. And this is the fall webinar 2025 copy. Live edits probably, and then this is more detail than we need, but probably
Yeah.
use with students in this state. Just in case anyone forgets and you're like, oh, it's great, I'm going to use it with students. Because all of us have permission to edit it, it's probably going to end up with something that's a little bit funny or messed up. And you might want to either make another copy and tidy it up or make a copy of the original.
I would say that we would give just a few seconds for people to find the scenario, the English one, Ohm's law, and do themselves also a copy so that they can also try to do at the same time. I think it would be good for them to try it out.
Perfect.
And over there, so you changed the title?
Yeah, I changed the title.
Yes. You could change learning goals if you wanted, or if you want just to translate, for instance, to Estonian. The description, etc. And a little bit downwards, you will see where it says private, so that we can explain why we were creating the organization. You see that there are 3 levels of visibility. Private is just for you, so if you want, you can make now a copy just to test how to change things. What Michael is going to do is with this copy, he's going to put it the visibility to organization, so that afterwards you can, if you are in the organization, you can see it. So that's why we wanted you in our organization of these webinars.
And I've clicked this box here saying it's editable by the organization because I want you guys to be able to edit it as well. Depending on what we were doing, like if we wanted it that I was doing all the edits and I don't want you guys to be able to touch it, but I want you to be able to see it. I just leave that unclicked there. Also, quick note on making scenarios public. We'd advise against or probably even request that you don't make ones public unless you run it by us first. If you create or modify a scenario and it's good and you want to share it, we'll probably be very much on board for you making it public, but we just want to have a look at it first to make sure it's something that like actually works. There's no problems. We want to help troubleshoot with you before we make it public for anyone using the platform to see. So even though you have the possibility of making it public, it's best if you don't before you check with us.
When it's public, no one can change it. So everyone can view and copy, but they can't change. So whenever you're ready to have it public, don't be afraid, because no one is going to be able to change your scenario, even if it's public. Public means that other people can make a copy or can use it as it is. So no one is going to destroy your public scenario.
But if you do share a scenario with an organization and you allow them to edit it, well, then they can
yes.
edit it.
So you can mess up with this one.
And do you think we've given enough time and we'll go into the scenario now?
I think so.
Perfect. So now we'll go to updating the scenario. So here it's that yellow color. So it's not the green public color, but it's the yellow organization only. And the only organization that this was shared with was the fall webinar one. So the 4 of us who joined into that before. And now we're going to view the scenario. So now we're in it. And
can I just make a remark? Because for me, it's usually confusing because where you were, you have update scenario and view. Update scenario is the page where we were, where you define the description, the learning goals, the image, you know, that front part of the scenario. That's updating scenario. When you want to edit the scenario, you have to click view. This is something that for me, it has been sometimes confusing because to view is to view, it's not to edit, but view over here is the same thing as edit because it's yours, because you have the permission. If you didn't have the permission, you wouldn't be able to edit. But if you do have permission, if you want to edit, you have to use view. Sorry, Mike.
no, it's good to be clear on that. So I'll go back into view, right?
Yeah, which is edit because you're able to edit.
And it's as Maria Luisa explained, it's the same button for public ones that you'll be able to get into the same view with, but you won't have you won't have the ability to change things, which
No.
Is only once you enter into the activities anyway.
No, over there, see view update. Over there, view and
right,
update
right.
is it's again
Or
the same
delete,
thing.
yeah. Whereas you just have view if it's a public.
View is you don't even have that. You only have the activities. You have a list of the activities.
Oh, okay. And so where do we want to start on modifications of this? We had a couple of ideas, but you had suggested embedding the simulation. We could look at how that could be done the 2 different ways.
Yes, that could be done immediately in the first activities. Welcome to the activity. And the second one, so over here, maybe we could update introducing a picture.
Sure.
Right? So you're in the engagement phase. You want to attract the students so that they are really interested. Maybe you found something interesting, like a picture. You can introduce. So you have like a text editor. It allows you to do many things, including uploading a picture. Sorry. So you have that picture.
And to show this, do you want me to look for a picture online or add a picture I have already on my computer? Like I could use the webinar logo again if we want to reuse.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So probably not the most fun image to use, like if we were actually using it for students, but
For us.
didn't drag it to the right spot, so I need to. You can just drag images as long as you get them landing in the right area, like within
There's the plus. There it is.
Yeah. And then I probably want to resize it because by default it's pretty big. So I'm just going to drag it until it's about the size of the text, but like it depends how students are using it. The actual size it'll appear because the viewer will be a little bit different. But like as a rule of thumb, if it looks too big here, it'll be too big for the students. Even though it's not a 1-to-1 how the size ends up in the end. And then so I'll save that as the changes to this part. So now we have the image in the welcome activity, and we can go on to getting acquainted with the lab. And so here we see the lab is embedded, and when students use it, and I don't, oh no, we can use it in the editor view.
Yes,
We can see that
it's
we can already start playing around with the simulation when it's in this form. And so for it to be embedded like that, there's two ways that that could be done. If we go to update activity, we'll see the two possibilities we have here. The first one, it's been chosen the type of activity it is an experiment. There's 4 different activity types, and in the experiments, there's an option of going into a couple of different types of experiments. These 3 ones are ones that are programmed, I guess, that that have been planned to be available in the scenario, to be included in scenarios. Simulations, these are PhET simulations from the University of Colorado at Boulder. Remote labs, they're from our partner Labsland near Bilbao, Spain. They're part of or associated with the University of Duesto. And their labs where the advantage of it is it looks like the students are remotely using a real lab. In the end, it's done in a really smart way with videos and photos and things like that. But that's that set of remote labs. And then VR, AR, I wasn't aware we had this available. This is being developed by our partner ATC, Athens Technology Center in Greece. And I actually don't know what the options will give for this. Maria Luisa, do you know what options it'll give? Oh, for the photoelectric effect.
it's very new.
Okay.
But it only has these 2 right now, and they are used in those 2 scenarios. So it's being used in those 2 scenarios. It's work in progress. So the idea is that more scenarios can have also the augmented reality, which the students will see with the QR code.
Okay, so unless you're making copies of either of those 2 scenarios, the pendulum, the photoelectric effect, this option won't be a useful one to you. I would guess probably in most cases, the PhET ones are going to be the most useful to you. And you can see the list. This is a subset of all of the many simulations that PhET has. If there are other ones that you want, and actually, I don't know if that's the case. I know if there are other ones that I want in a scenario, I could write to our partners and ask them to include those, and those could be migrated into this list. I don't know if they're accepting many new requests at the moment. So if for now, use the selection that's there, which if you're modifying an existing scenario, if it used a simulation, the simulation is one of the ones in this list. If you decide to create your own scenario from scratch, which will be the focus of next week's webinar, if it doesn't fit one of these, then that'll be covered with the second solution. Well, one of the 2 following solutions we'll have for how to integrate simulations. The remote lab, there's only 4 of them, and that's from our partners at Labsland. They have more remote labs available as well. So similar thing, PhET has more ones, but these are the ones available for integration into the platform already. It takes a moment more to load. We're not going to use this one because for Ohm's law, we're going to stick with the PhET one, but just to show this is what like the kind of thing that the Labsland simulations look like. So this is an actual inclined plane. You can go through it, set the angle, and so on. But we're not going to use that one. We're going to go back. So if we wanted to go back and leave it as the simulation we had, this one was, I think it was the circuit construction kit. No, Ohm's, yeah, of course. It was the Ohm's law simulation. No, not that
No,
one.
no, it was the one you were.
No, it was
The-
this one, which it wasn't the first one. There's too many circuit
There,
ones. Keep straight.
yeah, there are two of them. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it was this one, but do we want to get rid of this one and show with the eye
No,
embedded?
this is already, and I'm very sorry, Mike, because I had the old version, and the old version had the iframe. So the new version has already what you're showing.
Oh, okay. So we don't want to bother showing them how to do the iframe because that's a bit more complicated.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
So
I'm this.
there are other solutions possible, but we're not going to go into those today because they're a bit more complicated. But if for whatever reason you are working on a scenario where you want to use a simulation, either FET or otherwise, that's not part of this existing list, the easiest thing is just in the text, give the link. When you add a link to the text, then that'll open. Unless you changed around with the settings, it'll open in the same tab over the platform. So it's better to set it to open in a new tab. But yeah, that's if you want something that's not in here. Do you think we want to take the time to show that or go to a different?
I can. I do have the example. For instance, the Phases of the Moon uses a simulation which is not from PhET. So we needed to embed it. Either we put the link and people follow the link, but then they will lose the page where they were. So it's better, although it's smaller, you can embed inside there.
And just to show the third option, so and it's the least like the least good option, it's just simply a link to it. And so you can open it in a new tab, do the simulation in the tab. That's not as elegant a solution, but if you're like if you decide to make a new scenario or to include in a copy of a scenario you're modifying something that's not there already, you can just put links. And by default, like we had said, it goes in the same tab and then you lose where you were within the platform. But you can change that. And that's something that was added, like this scenario was last updated in January. So it's quite old, but if I were to update, no, how do I update the scenario, not the answer? Update activity.
Yes.
Then I can select the link. And there is a way to manually tell it this link I want opened. Let's see, that's the link. And yes, this button here is make the link open in a new tab. No, that's to open it now when testing. There is a setting and it was in a very non-obvious place. Yeah, I think it
If
was
you
only
click
up here.
there,
Yes. So it's not when you're over the text. You can get it to open in a new window. But
which
yeah,
could be
if I
good.
was right over the text going to the link menu, that doesn't appear as an option. So for the life of me, when I was writing this scenario, I did not know that was an option. And the number of times I was teachers and sometimes even with students, and I'd say, make sure you open it in a new tab. And here,
Yeah.
I didn't even bother putting it bold. I like, in other scenarios, the size of the text that I was using to say, make sure you open it in a new tab because it was frustrating and it's really not an obvious thing for people using it. But now that I've changed it, then this scenario, which isn't even public anymore, it'll now open in a new tab. And hopefully now if this comes up for you,
Yeah.
now you've seen how to open it in a new tab. You might forget how to do it, but play around with it or ask us and then you'll
Yes.
be able to do that.
It's very important because you might use the lab at several stages of the scenario. And if you always embed it, if the students didn't really read the instructions, which is something that happens very easily, they won't play around with the simulator and then they are already in the next phase and they have lost the simulator. So actually, I like to have the lab opening in a separate tab so that students will keep it there during the scenario. It can be very helpful.
Which also has the possible advantage, the possible disadvantage, but the possible advantage that if it's open in a different tab and they leave it open, it'll stay in the same state they left it at the last thing they did, and they don't need to start it over again.
Yes.
Which can be useful, or it can be bad if they did something funny, but all of the simulations have like an easy way to just reset the simulation if they did end up doing something odd.
Yeah.
Are we going back into Ohm's law, or did you want to
Yeah.
show how it was embedded with iframe in the other scenario?
I would go on because it's already a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit late.
kind of slow
There are
showing
more
up.
important things that
Okay.
we want to show.
So what do we want to tackle next? Like I've a list. Should I go to my list of suggested modifications,
Yeah.
or
Yes, for instance, you had a suggestion over here where it's current, voltage, and material.
Oh yeah. So to change that question, yeah, because I didn't really like the wording of that question. So we'll go find that one in the scenario.
And you can show how to find it. Maybe you
So
can show the diagram down.
Yeah, my favorite way of finding things are, I called it the map. There was a specific name that the technical guys were using for this kind of map, but I forget what it was
Like a
called.
fluxogram or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't the exact term
No,
they
it
used. The
wasn't.
term they used was something where I knew what they meant, but I can never remember what the term is. And I think this one is the right one, current, voltage, and materials.
Yes. And you
Okay.
might not like what is there, what's written
Okay.
there.
Okay, so if we go into this, well, and with both the questions and answers, I wonder, does this make your view for it really weird if I make it so I can see my suggested modifications and the platform? You can only see one of my windows right now, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, can you see that window okay, or do I need to change the how it's laid out?
I can see it. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if someone wants to say something. Feel free to interrupt. I don't know if anyone is also doing some changes and trying it out.
And so for this
Let's
one,
go.
and actually I'm trying to think, is there a way in the authoring view we see the, can I just go back? No, I can't just go back. I wanted to show the answers too, because it doesn't make sense why I'm changing it, because it was how the questions and answers fit together.
If you were before editing, over there.
Yeah. But
If you
before,
say
okay, yeah,
update,
so here's the
yes.
answer. Okay, so this asking, considering your hypothesis, how do a pencil and a paperclip differ in terms of amount of charge passing through them over time when subjected to the same increase in applied voltage? And I found that confusing, so I figured students might find that confusing. So I suggested alternative wording. If the same voltage is applied both across, I need to keep my words straight when saying, okay. So if the same voltage is applied across a pencil and a paper clip, what do you predict about their current? Because for me, that's just saying, okay, paper clip, pencil, same voltage, what's the difference in current? So I'm gonna go back to editing that.
Update activity. And there it is.
So got rid of that text, and I'm just gonna copy and paste my suggested text. That seems to be bold. I kind of like bold, but if it's the only activity with bold, it'll stand out as funny. So then that activity is updated.
So this is a question. The type is a question.
So
Yep.
it's still a question.
Mm-hmm.
Answers are still the same. Do we want to explain evaluation here?
I wouldn't think so. I would leave that
Okay.
for the next.
Yeah. It's a bit complicated to explain. And so then let's change the wording of the question.
Of current, voltage, and material.
Yeah. And then there's another one where I'd suggested a change of the answers. So
Which was just current and voltage.
current and voltage. So now we need to go back into the scenario and find current and voltage.
Back to scenario. You have the button. Yes.
Back to scenario. Now back to the map. Hopefully this is the only current and voltage, so it's the
Yes,
right
yes,
one.
it's okay.
Okay. So the right current and voltage, and now we'll be changing the answers rather than the question. And for me, that's because here it could be confusing for students. It can be the battery, it can be the voltage, and so it was just changing the word "it" for the
What
current.
happens to the current?
Yeah, and so trying to think the easiest way to. I guess I'll just copy answer A. So update answers. Current does not change, so that was my replacement answer A.
Then it's current decreases, B. Current decreases. And C. Current increases.
Increases. Remember how to spell increases. Okay. We won't talk about the answer weights yet, right?
No.
Okay. So we update the answers, and then the answers are now how I want them. Should we go through one or two more, or ask people to find their own things they want to change?
So let me just look over here if I had anything else that I thought was important. The change appearance, change question, change answer. Maybe add an activity.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at the diagram again and
Maybe I'll zoom out so you can see more of the diagram.
so somewhere we're just going to show how to add.
Is there anything in particular we want to add?
Sorry, I didn't do my homework, so I didn't have anything really thought about. But for instance, in the reflection between the reflection with lab, that's an explanation. Maybe we want to have that as two explanations. I don't know, cut it in half and then have another one, just as an example, just to show how.
So if we remove this text from there, and I've copied it, so I should be able to paste it. So we'll save that one for now.
So this is the reflection.
Yes.
And we're create activity.
Then we'll create an activity.
Paste.
Before I lose it. Okay. We'll call this equation because it uses the equations.
Okay.
Equation unveiling. And in I don't know about where you guys teach, but in a lot of places I've taught, then they just use the formula and they say, well, that's Ohm's law. like they say Ohm's law is V equals IR. Or V K. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But like rather than saying like the current will be proportional to the voltage and inversely proportional to the resistance, which is stated more like a law, the formula is what's given, and that's what we test kids on. So the equation, then it's just an explanation. The next activity, we need to get this to fit into the order, which is kind of the hard thing. I should have looked at that before I started creating it.
Yes. Let
It
me
was
look at it. I think.
it was right after reflecting with lab, so it should go to testing understanding, and reflection with lab should go here, which it's odd because no.
Just a second.
Reflection with lab comes before reflection, and reflection is where this text was taken from. But at any rate, I think it goes to testing understanding. If we're not sure, then I can take this and
So
make an
this was reflection, then it went to reflection with lab. And you have introduced a modification.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I can't open it in a different tab now to see where I am, but you found where I am, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you modified, you divided reflection into parts, right?
Yes.
So the second one that you have opened, that is the new one, is going, the next activity is reflection with lab.
Okay, so this will go to reflection with lab.
Okay.
So we'll create the activity, but nothing's yet leading into it. And if we look at that on the map in the scenario, it's going to be floating on its own. So the equation unveiling, nothing leads to it. So no one would ever go to it, but it would go to reflection with lab. So now what we need to do is go into reflection, break this arrow, or like redirect where it goes, and have it go to the equation rather than reflection. So sorry, rather than reflection with lab. So back into reflection, updating the activity. We're going to look at where it goes. Oh, sorry, not activity type. Next activity. And here
is the new reflection. You called it equation.
Yeah, equation unveiling.
Yes.
And notice the order these come up in is the order they were created in, and not necessarily the order that students would progress through the activity in. So sometimes it's hard to find things, especially if something in an earlier phase was created later. Like if we'd created something new in the hypothesis phase, that's the first phase, but the newest created activity would still be all the way at the bottom.
You can show now that this one is going to appear as the last activity over there. There, right there?
Yeah.
See? That's what you were explaining. Although it's going to, for the students, it will come as the second activity. Since it was created now, we cannot move it up. But the students will go as they should. You can show the diagram, and now it shows exactly what we wanted to. It's just a question of visualizing when they are ordered. They appear as we create them.
Okay, and we've got about 10 minutes left. Do we want to show them something more for the next 10 minutes, or give them the challenge of try and modify something and let us know how it's going?
Yeah, or ask if they have questions, if someone is trying to follow and also do some changes in one of these scenarios that they have copied. Let's see if we have more interaction to see what you are doing over there. Is anyone modifying already, or you were just looking at what we were doing?
I was looking at what you are doing, but now I'm going to start trying myself. And it was very, very helpful to show how you can get open in new window, because I also had lots of problems with it. The students would open and then close, and everything would close. And
Exactly.
yeah, thank you.
There are things we only learn after failing.
Well, it's something I guess it's not yet at the top of our to-do list, but it would be good if we went back through scenarios and checked that we by default had put all the links to open in a new tab, because it is frustrating when using the scenario if you have it open in the same window. But until it happens and you're the one like who can modify the scenario, then you don't remember to go back and do that, and like until it comes up again.
Yeah. Any other questions? Has anyone tried it out? No.
And also, well, like one type of question could be how to change something, or if it's possible to make a certain kind of change.
If anyone has tried something and got stuck, we are here to help. Oh, we had Consolus Evangelus needs help to log into the platform. Okay. So we had already shared over here, just a second. So this is where the platform is. You will register and you will need a teacher code, because we want you to register as a teacher, because if you're not a teacher, you cannot play around with the scenarios. Oh, thank you, Michael.
So just to
Okay.
show, if it's your first time connecting, that's the,
Mhm.
well, now I'm zoomed out, so it's all small, so you can't see anything on my screen. So I'm gonna zoom.
We can guess, but
I'm gonna try and zoom in. Now I'm zoomed out further. I was stuck in the Zoom meeting, so it didn't zoom. Okay, so that's hopefully an appropriate level of zoom. So you can still see
yes,
most of the
definitely.
screen, but can hopefully see that this says if you don't have an account, or of course if you have an account already, you forgot a password. I think it's just a simple password reset. Yeah, you
Yeah.
give your email address. I'm not going to go through giving mine, because then I think
You
I
don't
have
want
to
to
change my password, and I don't want to change my password. I don't even remember what my password is. It's just remember there. So if you go to create an account, you can fill in. I mean, in this case, don't use Michael, because it's already taken his name. And we advise for your username, it's best if you either use your first name or your email address, something that's really obvious, but not only for you. If you're trying to tell us about something you're doing, or your use of the platform, then for us to know that it's you. For example, adding you to the organization. It's easier if it's a username that makes sense, and we can just like copy paste from somewhere. The access code, that's the one that Maria Luisa put in the chat. more recently.
So that you are a teacher and you can play with the scenarios you can create, you can use the scenarios with your students and so on. Because otherwise you'll be a student and you can just see the scenarios. You're not the teacher, you don't have access to the background of the scenarios, right?
And I wonder if I have any, yeah, I have some student accounts still remembered my password thing. So just to show you and like, oh no, this one's
No,
teacher account. Ah,
no,
I
that's
thought I
teacher
created a
account.
student one. I'm sure I have I have tons of student accounts to show what student view looks like. I
Just
forgot.
wondering if Consolas, Evangelos, have you been able to register? No. Oh, what's the problem? Or did you already have an account and you don't know your username? Could that be it?
So in case it's of use to see what it looks like in the student view, I dug up some old student credentials. So this is one where there's only one scenario available because this was a workshop I was running at Mougins British International School in southern France, and we were just using one scenario. So you can't view it to edit it. You can only start the scenario. You don't have the authoring tool. You don't have the dashboard. So just a more reduced subset of what you see in the platform. So that's why to like create and modify scenarios, and you can't see organizations here because by the nature of being a student account, it's just attached to one teacher account. The teacher can be part of one or more organizations, but yeah.
So I found Evangelos.
Ah,
Yes. The username is Evangelos. So the account already exists. Maybe it's a question of resetting the password. Maybe.
which again, well, yeah, I guess I'll show again. If you need to reset your password, that's down at the bottom here, the reset passwords. And you don't even need your username, but you need to know which email address you used for the
registration. I hope this helps. We don't need your email. You need to put it there. Okay. And maybe you need to make sure that you do have a teacher account. I would say yes, because otherwise I wouldn't find you here. Although that's a good question. Yes, it has to be a teacher account. because I found Evangelos over
Well,
here.
and student accounts don't use an email address.
No.
They're auto generated through the teacher account, and we don't gather any data from students, including email address.
Yeah.
Ah,
Let me see.
that's useful to know that it took a couple minutes for the password reset to actually work. I'm not surprised, but that would be frustrating while it happens, and good to know if someone's going through it, that if it's not working immediately, it'll probably work. It'll just take a minute. So that's really useful advice. I guess it's also worth mentioning at this point, there's probably going to be a lot more questions people have as you're going through modifying things. And to make it easier, both to discuss with us, but to discuss with each other, because there's some things like I only just had good advice for Evangelos, who was trying to access things. Then we're starting a Google Groups so that we can message each other between webinars, stay in touch that way. I've actually created the group, but not sorted out how to send out the invitation. It seems odd that I have an empty group. Well, I'm the only one in it for now. But once I figure out the best way to actually sort out send out the invitation to everyone, then everyone who's participated in any of the webinars, you're very welcome to join. Hopefully we will see some of you there to keep up some of these discussions and to let us know, because it's the kind of thing where when you see it, it might seem really obvious, and then when you go to actually do it, there'll be like a tiny thing that if you have someone you could ask, that would help a lot. And that's the point of creating a Google group for this. So you'll be receiving the invitation for that either later on this evening, or it's kind of a busy evening, so probably tomorrow. But we'll see how things go. But you'll be getting an invitation soon for a Google group.
We have a question from Nikos. The AI assistant in your platform is a work of your team or a ready-made chatbot. Also, can this assistant be integrated in certain activities of a scenario? Is the scenario writer who determines in which activities the AI assistant is integrated? And thank you. I think we need to explain that this was the preparatory phase of the project, where the chat box, the bot, was made by the scenario writer who created the scenario. And what happens is we implement it to a large number, at least 500 students, and then the AI will analyze and give suggestions on how to transform the scenario in a better way for students to have the feedback that they need and the progression path that they need. So that's where the AI is coming. The chatbot is created by the scenario writer at this point. Ideally, we would reiterate once, twice, maybe 3 times, and afterwards it would automatically do it with AI. But at this point, it's the scenario writer who determines what appears in the chatbot. Any other questions? Can I just announce something? There is going to be a conference at the beginning of November on the 7th and 8th of November, if that's a Friday and a Saturday. And the project can take two teachers from Erasmus Plus countries. But to select them, we are going to have a contest. The webpage isn't still up, but it will be during this week. And the idea is to motivate teachers to use two scenarios that are about quantum mechanics, since this is the international year, and also the Nobel Prize of Physics was also for quantum mechanics. So to inspire students, there are two scenarios, the photoelectric effect and the double slit. And the idea is to have teachers implement at least 50 for 50 students. If we have more than 2 teachers, we will have to like take a lottery to choose 2, because the project cannot afford to take more than 2 teachers. And it should be available to countries within the Erasmus Plus scope. So if you keep an eye on our social media, it should be announced before the end of this week, if you're interested. The conference is going to be in Athens, and it's going to have to do, yeah, there it is, the link for the conference. Thank you. It has to do with AI, it has to do with Discovery Space. There are some presentations, and there are also workshops, so it can be fun.
Mhm.
And that was the announcement.
And of course, everyone's encouraged to go to the conference, whether or not you win one of the 2 spots through the implementation challenge. It's for teachers, and yeah, I'm pretty sure registration is still open until like a
Yes.
week before, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I think, yeah, I don't think I have any other announcements to make. And it seems like people are fairly quiet, and it's not like we're going to get a whole bunch of questions. Any final things to add before we let everyone go? Probably nothing more to add. So thank you everyone for joining us. We hope that after this you will try out modifying either this scenario that we used as an example, or probably more useful for your case, look at one that's relevant to something you're about to teach. And if there's anything you want to tweak, then like this is how to do it. If you run into any problems modifying the scenario, then let us know. We're here to help. We're happy to help, either by email or by the Google group once I actually figure out how to send out that invitation. Like, even if you want us to have a look over the scenario after you've modified it, you want us to check that there's things like, sometimes there's things that aren't obvious unless you've made a number of scenarios or tried them out with a lot of people. And we're happy to have a look at anything you do if you want another set of eyes on it that have experience in the matter. So with that being said, thanks again, and have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.